It is 5:31. We'll go and get started. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Let me share my screen. Okay, here is the agenda for this evening. Secretary Mattern will do the roll call as we go. Let me go and get the minutes up. Bear with me. Okay, you guys should have received the minutes. These are for the March 15th meeting, so a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully you had a chance to review them. Were there any questions or comments on them before we vote? Kind of long. Our meetings have been pretty long recently. Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I entertain a motion to vote to approve the minutes for our March 15th meeting. It was motion and seconded. All in favor, please raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, raise your hand or do a heart emoji. And any abstentions, do a different emoji. Fantastic. Moving on to open forum. Is anyone here for open forum? Okay, seeing none, I'll go and move on to speaker's podium. Tonight, we have the Associate Dean of Students, Kim Livingston Cobb, here with us. She is sort of heading up the wellness collaborative that I've told you guys about multiple times. So she's here tonight to get some student feedback on that initiative and introduce herself to you guys. So if you guys will give Ms. Livingston Cobb a welcoming round of applause, please.
If you haven't met me yet, I'm Kim Livingston Cobb. I'm the Associate Dean of Students, which basically means the areas that I supervise are the Student Counseling Center, our Center for Student Financial Wellness, Student Assistance and Advocacy, care, conduct, some of those areas. So a lot of different kind of wellness areas. And then, like Casey said, we are working together to kind of start up a new campus-wide collaborative wellness initiative, which super excited about. I'm also the liaison to the University Health Clinic. So I am hoping soon to get some student feedback on kind of what experiences you've had with the health clinic. And, you know, if you have any comments or anything like that. So I'm going to send out a survey to whoever I can. I have it ready, but didn't bring the QR code today. But yeah, so just to kind of, we'd love to have feedback and so that I can give them some of your feedback. And if they're doing great, awesome. If you have suggestions, that's great too. So, so I guess I'm kind of wanting to find out a little bit from you guys. Are you all familiar with the different services that I listed, like counseling? And how many of you have my SSP downloaded? Yay. Okay, so if you're not familiar with my SSP, it is a wellness app that we have through the Counseling Center. You can go on the Counseling Center's web page. It's just uttyler.edu/counseling. There's a link there that will take you to my SSP. And but you can also just go on your phone, go to your app store and search for my SSP. So there's lots of different things you can do on the app. The most important thing, I think, is that it's 24/7 counseling. So you can text them, you can call them. They can get you set up with ongoing counseling. You can also do, you know, there's podcasts and all different kinds of wellness resources. You have free access to a fitness app and some things like that. The reason I'm bringing it up now, especially, is because we're getting ready for the semester to be over. And in the Counseling Center, we still provide telehealth. except that if you're going out of the state of Texas, then our licensures don't allow us to continue to counsel with someone who is not in the state of Texas because we're Texas licensed. So my SSP is your solution for that. They also have therapists with multiple languages, multiple cultures, and things like that. So it's really helpful for anyone who's basically not right here on campus, and you can use it throughout the summer and into the fall and all that. So if you want to kind of spread that news around, because that can be really helpful for those that are going home somewhere this summer. So I guess I'm really, I'm kind of casual today, really looking for some feedback from you guys. Like, what are your thoughts on count? Ooh, yay. Yes.
Y'all please be respectful as well.
It's okay.
Dang. You act like I'm aggressive or something. I'm not that mean. All right. Slightly, but not that mean. All right. Okay. So my question was, like, in this initiative, is there maybe any like potential for the fact that you guys address like the inaccessibility of like the counselors? Because I have heard from a lot of students actually about how it's really hard to get in to actually meet with the counselors in person. Some can go from having like one appointment and then they have like 2-3 weeks in between until the next one. And I know that my SSP is supposed to help address that, but for some people that's not the best option.
Absolutely.
A lot of people tend to prefer that in-person connection
Totally
because it's a
agree.
lot easier to let those kinds of things out. But that's just my question right there.
Yes, that has been a major struggle this year. We have had huge increases in needs, in student need, and we are very much needing as much as we can this semester. Because we were even more behind than we are this semester, we were given some HERF funds for one semester for a counselor. I have requested that counselor position to continue. But even with that continuing, we have 4 counselors that are available. So it is very challenging. And yes, we would love to be able to serve you guys better.
Follow-up question on that.
Yes.
And firstly, I do appreciate for all the work that the counselors do for students,
Mhm.
but who do we like go to and address the fact that we do need more counselors for that center?
Josh.
Oh,
Not Josh. Josh has an answer for us.
He just said that. You got to use the mic, Josh. We want our Zoom attendance to be fruitful. All he said was that counselors are paid through the student service fee, which is delegated through the Student Fee Advisory Committee, which is a committee that student government has membership on, significant membership on. So therefore, we could impact change that way. Thanks.
On the mic. And so student service fee helps fund a lot of the student support services that you see on our campus and mostly in our division, the Division of Student Success. And so we service all of our students on all of our campuses. And so 4 counselors for almost 10,000 students And so if students feel that if they want to reduce the times or need more counselors, that this could be a good opportunity for the fee committee to hear those feedback to make it a higher priority. And so that way we can invest into that. And so that is a good example of your student fees going to help in supporting students.
I want to make sure I got all the information I need on this detail. So is that the committee that you were asking for people to attend to before? Like you were asking for people to join, like recently? Okay, I just wanted to make sure because like that meeting's supposed to happen soon for like the students and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that was something that was brought up in the next meeting. So
Thank you. I wanted to know about, can you tell me about like what resources the counselors have and what kind of training they have? Because especially with my experience with my friends, when my friends told me that she went to one counselor meeting and was never going to go again because she was sharing her experiences and her struggle with depression and anxiety. And the counselor said, I can't really do much for you. Get a sunset lamp.
Okay.
So that level of
That
support.
shouldn't happen. And if it does, they need to contact me. Our full-time counselors are licensed. So they are either, we have one LPC associate, which means they're working on their full licensure. We have two fully licensed LPCs, and we have an LPC supervisor. And then I'm also an LPC supervisor, and I will step in if it's a crisis or something like that. But we also have an intern training program. So we also have in our office some of our graduate students who are finishing their internship and practicum from counseling graduates. So we have both in our office right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is like a stupid question or not, but what if one of your counselors gets a student that is in need of like antidepressants or something like that? Can y'all prescribe that or recommend it or anything?
So counselors cannot. However, we have a contract with UT Health for psychiatric services. And so they give us 2 mornings a week with psychiatric residents. So we typically will have 4 residents. 2 of them do our Wednesday mornings and 2 of them do our Thursday mornings.
Okay.
So we typically can get them in fairly quickly, especially if someone's a little higher risk. But it's usually this year, we've been able to, within a week or 2, been able to get them in.
Mhm.
They're actually a little easier to schedule with than the counselors are.
I was wondering if you could give the names of those counselors because I know of 3, but I don't know if, like their names for sure, or if those are the ones that you're mentioning.
Sure. Okay, so Linda Long is a licensed professional counselor supervisor. She does counseling, but then she also supervises our graduate interns and practicum students. Taylor Clark is now she's a fully licensed LPC. Yeah, just finished. Jonathan Richard is a fully licensed LPC. And then we have Gilberto Mendoza, who is a LPC associate. And then we have some interns too.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Definitely Kim oversees a lot of areas, but especially with us collaborating on the wellness initiative, I know I'm interested in getting some additional feedback from y'all on that topic. So basically the question that I'd like to pose is what does wellness mean to y'all? I know that we've kind of had this conversation in brief before, but Kim is in charge of this collaborative group, and therefore I think it would be really beneficial for her to hear from you all what the priorities should be. because definitely I felt a little bit of frustration in working with faculty and staff in this collaboration just because our priorities are different. And so I think this is a great opportunity for you all to communicate what you value and would like to see emphasized in wellness plans going forward. Any thoughts?
Oh, I was just thinking of some like programs or like events where you guys are giving out necessity things, maybe food every now and then, because some people have food insecurity. Or I can't really think of anything else when I was thinking, but mostly those like basic necessities. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, time management, stuff like that, but I really feel like that's like the students, like they can be in control over that. So just like the basic necessities.
So there's kind of some different needs. Also too, to kind of bring together people that are already doing things, because I think there's a lot of great things happening, but nobody knows what all the different great things happening. So yeah.
So really to talk about collaboration. Consistent. I think the best thing the counseling center can do is be consistent with events. I know Wellness Wednesday is something that was super successful back in the fall, because it was in the same spot every week in the same time. So seeing the consistency for students, being able to recognize that, hey, they're going to have programs out here where I can consistently go to and understand more about the programs that the counseling center offers, like the counselors or yoga that they do, or just a whole bunch of things that we're going to do on the plus. Consistency is, I think, the best thing for the counseling center, just to reaffirm the idea in students' mind. I heard over NOTA, or somebody talk about NOTA, it takes parents one time to hear one thing and remember it, but it takes students 17 times to get that really cemented in their mind. So I think consistency is where you guys have to be working, because programs are happening all over the university, like you said, and collaboration is nice, but having it reinforced for students is, I think, the better play.
Yeah, and I think the benefit of collaborating would be that counselors would not need to take as much of their time every single Wednesday, and have a little more time for counseling as well. So yeah, you've collaborated with us quite a bit, and that's extremely helpful. Yeah.
All right. Is there any plan to improve mental health awareness for students who fall into the LGBT community, or just minority students in general?
That was actually on one of the things on our list as some gaps. We do have, with our counselors, we have better diversity than we've ever had before. And I would love to continue expanding that, but yeah, absolutely. Yes.
It's like a part of it or whatever. That's it.
Yeah, so she was asking if Wellness Wednesdays is through the counseling center. So, I think some of this is also part of why we need to collaborate, because I think, different departments might name things the same thing. But yeah, I know Taylor's been kind of our outreach coordinator, and so they've worked really well together. So, but the main Wellness Wednesdays have been through the counseling center.
This was just a thought that popped into my mind. So, I was wondering if you guys have done or plan to do any events with career success, because I know when I think of wellness, especially as a college student, I'm thinking about like my future and how like my overall wellness, whatever anyone feels like that falls into that category, will affect me in my career.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's been on our main list, but yeah, that's great. And we have been working hard in the Division of Student Success to try to do a lot more collaborating and bringing in all the different components so that we can work together. And I think wellness is a great topic, you know, that affects all of us. You know, I think it affects every single area.
This is more just like, yeah, it's a question. I don't know what else to for me to do something that's
Question,
not.
comment?
So we can, those who are interested can go out and talk to you guys.
Sure. So we are brand new. And so this wellness collaborative is really brand new. Basically how it started was I'd kind of been wanting to do it for a while. And then, then I heard, hey, faculty senate is talking about wellness. And then I heard, student government's talking about wellness. And then, our staff senate is talking about wellness. And so we were kind of like, we need to just all do this together. And so that's kind of where we are at the very beginning stages. We've had one kind of everyone meeting, and then we're working on getting another one scheduled. I think we were looking at, I had to end, yeah, we both had to get off before the end of, I think it was like May 9th. So, and then we've had kind of some small groups to just kind of figure out, okay, what direction, do we want to go and how do we want to present this to the larger group? So, yeah. Yes.
I just wanted to ask, because I'm not too familiar of the events that you guys have done before. Have you guys done events involving like stress management for students and stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of times during our Wellness Wednesdays thing, we'll have different things for stress management. In fact, we have a de-stress fest coming up on April 20th. Yes, Dawn is helping with food. But if if anyone wants to like come out and be a part of it and have a table or anything like that, basically the idea is to have different kinds of stress management techniques, but also just kind of games and something to get away from studying for finals for an afternoon, that kind of stuff. Yes.
On like the top of your head, like the average like student attendance for like some events, just like ballpark area?
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, but I mean, would you say that like students attend your events quite often?
They have been this, especially the large. So kind of what we've done this year, really because it's hard to have enough staff time to focus on it. We have one kind of larger event. And so I think with those that we have larger events and we're collaborating with others, we have a lot more turnout. And then we'll have more of a tabling event the other Wednesdays. So that's probably less attended and things like that. So, collaboration is very, very helpful. I think, y'all probably have experienced that too. You know, the more people you get involved, the more students will come.
Yeah, sorry about that specific question, but I was just curious
No,
to see
that's
if like
okay,
students
yeah.
like attended these events and stuff. That was all.
Yeah, no problem. Yes. So, so a couple different things. My SSP is definitely available. You are welcome to schedule a telehealth appointment through us, but we also have a contract with UT Health Houston, where you can, get counseling, psychiatric appointments and things like that as well. Yeah. And we have that information on the front page of our website as well. So you can go and get all the information for who to call for UT Health Houston.
Are there any plans to expand like the free resources offered on my SSP or any other like wellness programs for outside counseling?
Yes, which is somewhat like my SSP. Yeah. So, so yeah, UT System is looking at funding some of those things. But, any student can utilize my SSP and, they can, I think if you, I guess it depends on what kind of expansion you're looking for.
Yeah, it just really just depends on, like I said before, because there's people who are really looking for counseling appointments who can't get counseling appointments because the waiting list is like 20 students long or something. So any sort of that extra resources that can help stabilize their mental state before they can get into counseling, I think would be really helpful.
So okay, good. So other than serving on your
I would say, collaborating on the program. I know that I've said that over and over again. I think it's, help with staffing those kinds of things, help with, getting things ready, because y'all probably have put on events before and knows that it takes time. And, if I've got a counselor, spending too much time on that kind of stuff, they're spending less time doing counseling. I like that they have times that they're out and you guys can meet them, and realize that counseling is not scary and all that kind of stuff. So, but to me that would be huge. And just I can think kind of like what Josh says. Y'all have a little more voice than we do about the needs out there. So,
do y'all serve or like work during the summer and the breaks and stuff like that? Okay, I was just making sure because I feel like
Yes.
those might be like the best times to do it.
yeah. So yes, we are here through the summers. I think we have the standard like holidays, between Christmas and New Year's. But other than that, yeah, we're here all the time. Not for counseling, but yeah, you can't do counseling. But if you want to do health promotion, if you want to do anything like that, we would definitely consider that.
Wellness Wednesdays.
Wellness Wednesdays. Yeah. Yeah.
Any questions from our Zoom attendees for Kim?
And if y'all talk to someone that has had an issue or something like that, tell them to call me, email me, set up a time to meet with me. I supervise that area. So I want to make sure that, if a student and a counselor don't match well, or if something happens, then I want to make sure that the student still gets served and we get them in. And if a student is in crisis, we have very limited, typically one crisis appointment set aside a day. They fill up, but if someone is really in crisis, we're going to do our very best to fit them in, even if I have to go over there if I'm available, but to screen and things like that. But yeah, I definitely want to hear if there's any concerns.
There's a question in the chat about what the next upcoming event is and that promotes wellness on campus.
The De-Stress Fest would
De-Stress
be the
Fest.
biggest thing. Yep. And that is on the 20th. So it's the Wednesday before finals. I'm not sure what all we'll have there yet because offices and student orgs and everything are signing up now to participate, but that'll be the next big thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Kim. Y'all give her a round of applause.
And if y'all wind up with other ideas or other thoughts, you can talk to Casey and she can forward it. You can always email or call me. So we definitely want to hear from you guys.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Moving on down the agenda to officer reports. As you guys know, my time is coming to a close as president. But some of the exciting pieces of that are that I get to start helping Landry get ready to go. Today was the first step in that. My last meeting with the president and his first. So that was cool to be able to overlap like that. Got some really good information about some of the feedback you guys had about housing as it relates to what he was saying last week. And also updated him on some of my last things. We had a wellness meeting today for that initiative, and we're really making progress. We kind of have been doing almost like an audit of what resources and activities are already available. That way we can make sure we're not duplicating efforts. We're supporting programs that already exist. So that has been really good. And then basically I'm just getting ready to make the transition and helping Landry plan an awesome banquet, which I'll talk about later. So Vice President Smith.
Yeah, so got to do that today. That was very cool, very informative. But other than that, basically I've been looking into what we're going to be ending up doing for the banquet, which is much of what we're going to talk about later. So we are not still doing the yoga event. I'm sorry to say that because the week that we were going to do it, which was this Saturday, they're having the Patriot premiere, and that kind of takes precedent. So,
And we'll be there for that. So
yeah.
we can't do both.
Yeah, so that's why. But next year, I do still want to do something like that, and then maybe even incorporate, I don't know, having like dogs come out there or something during it or something like that. It'd be really cool. And then partnering with wellness actually on that would be, I think, a great
Baby
thing
goat
to do.
yoga. Baby goat yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not on the plaza, but but yeah, so that's what's going on with the yoga event. So sorry to say it's not happening this semester, but gives me more time to think about how to make it better for next year. So
Secretary Mattern.
I'm really just focusing on making it through this semester. I'll be completely honest. I really don't have many meetings or anything like that. Me and Casey did set up a meeting for my, what was it called?
Exit meeting.
Exit meeting. That kind of sounds sad. And I'm just taking a step down, so I'm not like fully leaving like Casey is. So
Treasurer Limbrick.
We got about the same, so just getting ready to transition to the next treasurer. So I guess I gotta start getting in contact with Bev about all the treasurer stuff. As far as that, budget wise, I think we're coming close to what we approved this semester. So getting ready to go around, and I think I still have to get the no, I got the midnight breakfast, all the items on that, so I'll be fine on that as well.
So y'all's last SGAC meeting should be like this week or next, right?
Correct. 2 weeks before finals, so I think next
Okay.
week.
Yeah, perfect. Make sure you get Beverly in on that meeting, please.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Chief of Staff Bennett.
So I am also getting ready to transition. I've been I've been trying to get Soren out to some meetings, but they've all been canceled. As soon as it reschedules, I'll get him in with us. And then I'll also be meeting with him probably next week to kind of sit down and kind of go over what the role as chief of staff is. I've also been kind of just meeting with a couple of just administrators around campus, kind of get the feel of it and kind of get to know with different people. And yeah, it's just all fun.
Okay. Moving on to committee reports, events committee.
I got it.
Wow.
Events committee is mainly, we just talked about the banquet that's coming up, kind of deciding a theme, what kind of food. And yeah, we've got a couple ideas for both that are we bringing up right now? Okay. Or we'll talk about it.
I have it on new business. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. Communications.
For that. Oh yeah, communications committee.
Well, we talked about posting for the yoga event, but it looks like we won't be needing to do that. I do want to try to help with events. I think that would most of my people though are in events. I'm pretty sure, aren't you? Okay, yeah, and so is Shelby, I'm pretty sure. So I guess we'll be posting about the banquet and saying a farewell to Casey.
I don't know we necessarily need because it's not going to be open. It's just going to
I
be for our
know.
organization.
Are we doing? Okay, that'll
talk
be
about
a
it
new
later.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. SGAC or Luis.
Luis had to step out, so we approved 2 groups. One was the Rolling Patriots Guild for $82.28, and another one was the Creative Writing Club. They're having like a joint event with Department of Literature and Agriculture or something like that. I'm not sure.
It's literature and oh my gosh, I know what you're talking about. I saw the email. That's cool though.
Yeah. So that as well. And we have 2 groups, one of them being Rolling Patriots Guild for this Thursday as well. That's going to be in the meeting for SGAC.
Okay, so are those going to basically be your last 2 requests?
Let me look at the calendar. No, it has to be next week. Next week is 2 weeks before final.
Sounds
So
good.
next week will be last week. Is Beverly Luna is in the main campus, right?
Yeah, you want to wave at the camera back there?
Okay.
Hold on.
She's coming.
She's coming to wave.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if she's already in the SGAC chat. Well, I'm gonna send an email out to her for the Zoom meeting. So
Sounds
she can
great.
see it. All right, appreciate it.
Perfect. Okay, rules committee.
In rules committee, we worked on 1 active proposal and then 2 minor changes to the Constitution about the polling locations. So just wording changes to that since
We don't have polling locations is the change. So
yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And then the environmental sustainability. Can y'all pass it back to Macy, please? Macy, did you see the email I copied you on? Perfect. She's sort of like Bonnie isn't officially an advisor for that committee, but she's very passionate about it. She does recycling and Arbor Day, Tree Campus USA, all of that for UT Tyler. And so it has a special place in her heart. and she loves to collaborate. She works in facilities, so I would definitely recommend getting in contact with her.
Yeah, I sent an email out to her earlier today, so excited to see what she says about that. So what we've been up to. So we kind of had like a roadblock in regards to the clothing drive. I was talking to the or not the UT Tyler, the Tyler Street team, and they are completely full of clothes. Like
Which is good. Which is good. That's a good problem.
yeah. So we're trying to work a way around that. Because I want to do something for Earth Day, but I don't know, they kind of messed this up. So we'll plan something out though.
Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, student voice reports. First up is the College of Education Psychology. You already have it. Go for it.
All right. Well, once we got back from spring break, we had midterms and all that, or at least for some of my classes. Those went good from what I've heard from all the people in my class. There's been nothing really going on that I know about.
Okay. Kina, do you want to go while he's passing it?
Excuse me, sorry, I was distracted.
You're good. We're on student voice reports.
I'm good. Okay. I really have nothing to report. Sorry, excuse me.
No, that's fine. All right, Justin.
Hold on. All right. So honestly, I haven't really heard much. Students are just going through the motions. They're just like, we're burned out, ready for summer. Typical stuff you hear at the end of the semester. Really.
Have you heard anything from Dr. Hayes about the SONA stuff that you were working with?
I mean, nothing since the last time we talked, which was about how they just worked on trying to make more broader studies for students. But I haven't really followed up since then, just because kind of been busy.
Sure.
So on the upside, though, I did quit my other job, so I'll have more time to focus on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Did they? Oh, good to know.
Brennan said that they actually did add a bunch more studies. If you guys remember, they have been working to get additional studies because you have to complete studies for credit for psychology, and there's been limited availability. So they're working on a solution for that.
I do have actually one more thing that's kind of for everybody here. Kind of regarding midnight breakfast next semester. Just it was an off-topic conversation I had. So I was meeting with Dr. Sass the other day. It was more so for like a career guidance thing because I was like, I graduate next year, so I don't really know what I want to do. So I was asking for some advice. But then we got on the topic about last midnight breakfast and stuff, how she helped out with that. She talked about how maybe potentially she was like interested in seeing if the faculty senate might be interested in helping out if it gets bigger next semester and stuff like that. So it was just something that was in the ballpark we were talking about, but that's all I got.
Yeah, good to know. Thank you. Brennan?
All right. So with the SONA studies, they have added more options to choose from and more credit opportunities because they've looked and more classes in the psychology department are not requiring it, but like my parenting class, it's there for an extra credit opportunity. And they've kind of limited it down on classes requiring it to it's more of an extra credit type deal now.
Good. Thank you. College of Pharmacy, that's Macy.
So we actually had our dean had to step down. So that's currently all being decided. And we also had some really good faculty members also step down. So that's been kind of chaotic.
All at once?
Well, in the last like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
okay.
So it's a little crazy. But amidst all that, we're having our formal this Saturday. So I'm excited for that.
You need to elaborate. What is formal?
I don't know. We just started that this year and it's at some country club.
So is it, I'm assuming it's pharmacy formal?
Yeah, it's just like all the pharmacy people.
Love that.
So
formal.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Is that hosted by the council in the Or who's hosting it?
Yes, the council.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's all we got.
All right. Student body at large. Y'all want to just meander it around.
Yeah, the biggest thing is with finals coming up in 2 weeks because it's hitting real quick. One issue with the vets is it's been talked about for a while is a location because right now they have a closet. I call it a closet. It's not, it has no windows. It's
Talking
very
about the
small and
lounge?
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our lounge. Yes, what it's supposed to be a lounge. But working they need we need something bigger than that, a different location than being shoved away into a closet.
That would have been good feedback for Kim. I'll definitely get that to her.
Is there anybody?
Who's next?
I don't have too much to report. Finals are coming up, but I guess the one thing is like people are still talking about midnight breakfast, so that's a good thing. I would
Yeah.
expect that next one, more organizations are going to want to get involved. So I don't know if we're gonna have the space for that, but I guess that's a pretty good problem to have.
Mm.
But that's about it.
It's getting too big. Come on down.
Yeah. So I have a couple things. I just typed them in on my phone here, if you can hear me. The first thing is I'm still working on, as I move into a future alumni role, the Student Government Alumni Association, which is very important to me, and I think a successful part of the future of this organization and and the school. And as we talked about alumni, and as I've talked about, like having alumni associations on our campus and off our campus will help us a lot. So that's something I'm going to continue to work with people whenever I move into alumni position. I kind of going back to the wellness discussion, something I brought up at UT-SAC in the past whenever I had a role there, is that students get more involved, being collaborative. As I told them as a representative there, and they didn't really like it. Most students probably don't even know where Title IX offices, counseling offices are, and that starts right at orientation. And that starts with students. You know, we have these counselors who put in a lot of resources to do this, but asking them to do it while students are still not participating, and we're still only, you know, reposting stuff on our Instagram stories with the same turnover and the same amount of people coming. There's got to be a different way. And whenever it starts from the system level and it comes down where we're just like put more resources into it, it's just redundant. So I think something to look forward to in the future is how to be collaborative with them, how to get students involved, how to get students off their phone at orientation. Now, that's not digging at orientation, and I know I was there. I probably I did it, and so like that there's like levels to that, and students participating and being collaborative. Something else that I might be bringing up in the next couple of weeks is Native American representation and data at the UT system level. If you look at UT Seek right now, there's no Native American representation, and the problem with that is whenever funding is allocated through PUF and HUF funds, like Dr. Calhoun was talking about last week, they're left out because they just are folded into the other section. And while that might seem okay at the time, just because it's 0.5% of 240,000, it's really not okay because those people are left out of that kind of funding. So something I would request that the student government in the next couple of weeks request for next year's UT System Student Advisory Council. And then another official statement I would like to see, and I might motion for it later, is a student government's official statement on the athletic mark. Like we talked about earlier in the semester, we did kind of approve, or we did kind of have some support of it in a meeting. I'd like to see that because from my experience with athletic marks being changed, it doesn't really go well, and it would be okay to have a student perspective on it. And it's a cool role that student government can play in as these go forward, and kind of like a precedent set. And then last, parking. I haven't had a lot of people talk to me about parking. We brought it up to the president last week. And I think that we discussed it a little bit, but like enforcement of parking tags is kind of a problem because there are times where I've been on campus without a tag, just to test if I don't after that, and I didn't get anything.
So are you advocating for additional enforcement?
I'm saying because I paid $90 and now I'm like, well, I shouldn't have paid $90. And I think that's what someone was trying to say to us last week, that she may not, she was being polite and saying that like, that kind of stinks. Like, it stinks to pay to $90 and think, wow, I could have gone without that. We'll see. So I would say just like that's something to look into in the future.
Yeah.
Especially when you're bringing up at the presidential level, to be really careful of. So sorry, that was long-winded, but that's all I've got.
No, it's great.
Oh, it's your turn.
Oh, one thing about parking is like in the parking garage, there's this random
Hey.
car that's been there for forever, and it's like an inch of dust, and it's been there for forever. And someone told me that they just changed the tag, but then it's like, why? Because it's been there for forever. And like, I'm sorry if this is your car, but there's a car out there that has no tag and is just chilling out there without a wheel, and it's like, why?
Yeah. Okay, Holly.
So I didn't really have anything, but then earlier today, a student came up to me and they suggested, so the area that they're going to take down trees for the new health science department near Liberty, she suggested that each tree that they take down, they plant 2 more somewhere else, like in the Arbor Day like area or just like another area. And I
Yeah.
thought that was a good suggestion.
Yeah, they do that. That's how we maintain our Tree
Okay,
Campus
cool.
USA certification, which is really awesome. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a big deal. And so they do that. Anytime we do construction on our campus, the trees are at least replaced, if not replaced doubly. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
But yes, thank you. Okay, I think, is that all the student body at large? Did I miss anybody? Soren, sorry.
Not much to report. I've just been notifying students about a minor change to the final exam schedule. The university revoked the study day. I think that's what it's called. That's supposed to be on Monday, April 25th, and just made it a normal final exam day. So I've just been trying to notify some students. Because of commencement on Friday.
Mhm. Basically, they moved the schedule up. Yep. Okay. Thank you. All right. Moving right along to old business. Does anyone have anything to bring up? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. I'd like to entertain a motion to discuss the election results. Okay, it was carried and seconded. Let me get them up. Have you guys taken a look at them? I posted them in the group me. Okay, great. I'm still going to pull them up. Okay, let me share my screen. All right, let me preface this with, we're going to be respectful. We're just looking at it so I can show everyone where they are. So this is the SGA homepage, uttyler.edu/SGA. If you've never been on this webpage, definitely recommend it. Hopefully you all have. You're all listed on here. So, but here under elections and then general elections, you'll find the spring 2022 election results. Has every single race from executive board down to all of the senator results. I think we ended up with 24 or 25 incoming senators, something like that. That does not include the freshmen that hopefully will gain in the fall election. So we're set up very well. I'm excited for you all. We're looking good to have a very full Senate. An area that we can always use more representation is on our distance campuses. Houston will be fully represented again, but I'd love to see some of the other distance campuses represented. So that's what all I had to say. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the results? I thought I saw, did you raise your hand? Okay. Any questions or comments on the results? Okay, perfect. I just wanted to show you guys where to find them. Entertain a motion to close discussion. Okay, it's carried and seconded. Moving on to the safety and accessibility walk discussion, I'd like to entertain a motion to discuss that. Okay, carried and seconded. So I've told you guys about this many times. I just wanted to give you a status update. We had the initial planning meeting, kind of talking about what this walk would look like, what the frame of mind would be when we were walking, etc. And believe it or not, walking around the entire campus, looking at every nook and cranny of every single building, including residence halls, would take a very long time. So kind of the game plan at this point, once I get it going, is hopefully for you all to sort of inspect your constituencies. So Adon, for example, would take a look around the College of Business and note any areas of interest or concern. You have a thought? Yeah. Uh, Josh said he was laughing at the idea of student body at large walking around the entire campus. So hopefully I'm going to communicate in further detail at a later date, but I'd like to have you guys sort of inspect your areas prior to the initial kind of test run walk so that we're not having to do that entire thing, because it will be happening at dusk, so that we can get an idea of what lights are out, what areas need additional lighting, things like that, as well as just the safety and accessibility. So keep that on your radar, and I'll be communicating. The other question I had was just if you all have any ideas for specific things that we should be looking for. Let me tell you what I have. So right now, lighting, obstructions, sidewalk grades. We want to get usage on the emergency light, the blue light poles, as well as some of the police services like the safe walk and things like that. Yeah. So what else do you have?
The accessibility doors. A lot
ADA
of their
buttons.
I know the one in front of the College of Business it teeter totters whenever you push it in. It'll only work half the time. So
Yeah.
looking at those all around campus, it's
Okay.
So I have a class in the RBS, and whenever you're walking through that little bridge, or I don't know what you want to call it, it's really slippery whenever it's rainy. And I like wearing my sandals, so I'm slipping and sliding whenever I'm walking through. And I know, let's say someone's walking there and they have like something and they slip and fall, that could be really dangerous. I know that rugs are also something that people try to stay away from because you can also trip on them. So I don't know what we could do, but as of right now, it's just concrete.
Okay, good. Chloe?
It's not really safety and accessibility, but something you could look at the same time, just checking the women's bathrooms are stocked. Like at the same time as walking, it wouldn't take a lot just to check them.
Okay.
Are you just talking about the main campus or the housing facilities too?
Housing facilities as well.
Okay. I would say no.
Definitely some lighting needed in Liberty. We've talked about that many times. Okay. Gates. Robert?
We could also look at the distribution of the blue light, no, not blue light poles, but yeah.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, we could look at the distribution and see if there's any possible gaps.
Some campuses are getting rid of those.
I was just wondering what the rules are on, like, over the last week, 2 weeks, we've had 2 sets of people knocking on our door at Liberty for various different reasons. And I know some people, like one was for a church thing, and then another one was like 11 o'clock of like big guys like knocking on people's doors that clearly went there. I didn't answer, but one of my friends like looked through the door hole and was a little bit freaked out about it. Are they allowed to just come in and knock on doors like the church people, for example? I don't know what the other people were. Is there anything we can do about that? Like,
you can always call and make a complaint to your residence hall office. Past that, I don't really know. It's only if it becomes a big issue that they would involve the
I just wondered
police.
if they were allowed to do that or not. Because I know some people probably feel uncomfortable that just anyone can come up to your door, basically. Like
They
whereas
have to
at
be let in though.
You have to like get gates in, I think.
True.
Yeah, and PV they have the gates and.
Okay, we're getting sort of off topic. Just a reminder, we're talking about what things to look for on a safety and accessibility walk. Anybody else have feedback? All right, then I'd like to entertain a motion to close discussion on this topic. Definitely, Chloe, we should look into that. I don't know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll bring that up, but I don't know that there's much that I can do. I'll find out what the proper route is to handle that though. Okay. And then the last thing I have for new business, I'd like to entertain a motion to discuss the SGA banquet. All right. So SGA banquet is April 23rd, 6 p.m. Plus ones are allowed. The new senators will be invited. So it's going to be a good time. There'll be awards, food, fun, etc. Yes. Yes, affirmative. No, you're good. I just am clarifying in case it doesn't pick up on the Zoom. You are allowed plus ones. That is a Saturday, Houston friends. So I don't know if you guys would want to make the drive, but you are certainly welcome. We would love to have you. It's going to be in the University Center ballroom. Thank you for that question. Haven't really decided on attire yet. We'll let Vice President Smith handle that. But I'd like to hear from our events committee what some of the ideas are for the themes.
Okay, so we had yeah, sure. My mistake. So we had I'm gonna ignore that comment. We had talked about an events committee about 3 potential themes for the SGA banquet. The first theme was black tie, the second theme was masquerade, and the third theme was 50s. I think we were supposed to bring that to a vote for you guys. So you yeah, you guys are the only ones going and dressing up to it. So
Thoughts and or other ideas? Like poodle skirts and
I think of sock hops when I think of 50. So
And the idea behind doing the 50s was that it's the 50th anniversary.
hey
So
guys,
that's kind of the relation.
let's focus, please. Landry was saying it's the 50th anniversary of UT Tyler, so that's the inspiration of the 50s theme. I was trying to get homecoming to be 50s theme, but any other ideas or thoughts, preferences? Any ideas we especially do or don't like? Masquerade. Can you list them again please?
So the options were masquerade, black tie, or 50s themed.
Did y'all discuss 70s as well?
70s was thrown in the mix, yes.
Because it's 1971. I get it. Okay.
Wasn't thinking that. I don't think anybody was thinking that, but that's a good point.
I like the idea of 50s to like celebrate UT Tyler's 50th anniversary.
Let me include this caveat. If we do a theme, I expect you all to go with it. Okay. Because that makes it fun. It's not fun if not everyone does it. You know what I mean? I keep my poodle skirt on deck.
She does. Well, 50s is also like cocktail kind of dresses.
Mhm.
So those that and
Tea length.
pastels.
Yeah.
I just know that with the masquerade, I could not participate because I cannot see without my glasses, and then I'd just be like there, and it'd be like boring. Like it'd be fun for all of y'all, but I'm just like, I'm here.
Oh, you could do that.
Decorate them. I didn't think about
So unfortunately, the date doesn't work for me. But it being said about the 50s,
What do you
and being the
if-
50
Do
anniversary.
you have like a school sanctioned function or just something personal?
Oh
No.
no, it's work.
Okay.
But and then like with the 70s being 1971, I do like the 70s. I can see that one going really well.
We are hoping to do almost a ceremonial transfer of power. So if you can make it work, we would love for you to be there, but I completely understand.
So our formal this weekend is actually a masquerade theme, but a lot of the issue we had with that was for the girls is like putting on the mask and messing up your hair and stuff. So that was like an issue with that.
And
But
makeup.
I like the theme. I think it's a good thing.
When we did it for DG, it was like, how do I put on a full face and then slap a mask on top of it? Because if you want to take it off for pictures, you still want to have the makeup on. Ugh. April 23rd. It's a Saturday. 6. Okay, any other thoughts, feedback, other ideas? Later this week. We'll decide on Thursday for sure.
So one question I have is, because we're bringing in like the future or the incoming senators and everything, do we have any plan to do anything for like our distance people like Houston?
We are doing we're taking them to breakfast and everything when we go down there on Friday. But like I said, they're welcome to attend the actual banquet as well. It would be difficult for us to put on entire banquets for both campuses, but definitely in the future, that would be great. Six p.m. 4:23, 6 p.m. 4:23. All right, great. Yeah. It's not required, but definitely hope you all will attend. We'll be doing awards, like I said. Let me get yes. Saturday, 4:23, 6 p.m. All right. Copying the link. Let me send in the chat. Here's a link to the RSVP form. I'm about to put up a QR code for y'all in person. That is the link to the form to sign up for those of you on Zoom. And then for those of you in person, here's the QR code. If you want to go and do the RSVP form, I'll send it out in the chat as well. It's an engaged form. You can only submit it once. I even put that in the instructions at the very top of the form. So if you have to make any changes, like if you decide, oh, Don actually can't come with me, I'm going to bring my other friend, you need to email me because we're only going to let people that are on the list in the door. Oh, you only need RSVP if you can attend. That's a good question. If you cannot, then don't worry about doing the form.
I have another thing to say. Oh,
Go ahead, Kina.
What time are we looking at that the banquet will be held?
6 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
You're good.
we also talked about food and events committee. The 3 options that we brought up were Bruno's, Piatas, and Slim's.
I think because we're talking like Bruno's with the lasagna and the pasta and the salad and everything. I know we have some allergies as well. So it does ask on the form if you have dietary restrictions, we'll accommodate that. But that's what I'm leaning towards. It feels like fancy banquet food, you know? Right? Don't you think?
I'm game for whatever. I'm just there to eat.
Not for the awards or the fun, just for the food. I mean, sure. This one's going to be fun. Does anyone else need this QR code? Yes, I have it closing on the 18th. So 2 weeks from now. The 19th, the 19th. What? Put first and last name, yes. For your +1, put first and last name. Okay, any other questions about this? Saturday, 4:23, 6 p.m. Hope you all will be there. What day is it of the week?
Saturday, April
It's Saturday.
23rd at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
UC Ballroom.
Yep. 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 Till the sun comes up. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not doing that. It'll be over by like 9 or so. Okay. Then I entertain a motion to close discussion on this topic. It was carried and seconded. Everyone's tired of hearing me talk. All right. Anything to add to new business?
I motion to open a discussion on a Patriot Productions and SGA tailgate event.
Emotion. You just have to second it.
Awesome. So I've really already done a bunch of the back work. We have a baseball game picked to hand out Slims for. It's going to be on April 15th. It's a doubleheader. It'll start, I believe, at 2:00. We just need volunteers and people to hand out food, really. April 15th. That is not this Friday, but the next Friday. I just wanted to inform you guys that Landry, what's up? I believe 2 p.m. is whenever the game starts. We're probably gonna get there a little early to set up and then hand out food.
Can you send the details you have in the SGA group chat?
Yes, I can. I just want to announce that just so it can be on your radar. Put it on your calendar. I know people like doing that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it.
On a related note, the following week on the 22nd, I'm tossing the first pitch. So yeah,
I motion to close discussion.
it is motion seconded. Anybody else have anything to add to new business? Oh. Seeing as it was not seconded to adjourn the meeting. You don't have to, don't worry about it. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. Moving on to advisor comments. Did you say, all right. Was it actually seconded? All right, then we have to vote. It was motion and seconded to adjourn. Let the record show we do still have business to conduct. All in favor of adjourning, raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, raise your hand and do a heart emoji. And any abstentions. Seeing as it did not pass, we will continue to advise our comments. Thank you. Come on up. You know what? Josh was probably like, Justin, motion to adjourn.
For
I don't want to use a microphone.
I was off the hook. I want to go back to last week's meeting to just kind of share a quick update. There were several questions regarding our efforts regarding DEI. I do want to share that the Department of Student Engagement has historically been responsible for always providing multicultural and diversity events in collaboration with other areas as well, Office of International Programming, the Military Veteran Success Center. We've always provided programming. And I think this academic year, we've scaled some of that programming because we are getting ready to hire our first ever Director of Student Diversity and Inclusion. That position is posted. We're still actively searching. And as soon as we get a good pool of candidates, we will start that interview process. So I know that there were some questions for Dr. Calhoun regarding those efforts, and I wanted to address that with y'all, that we are committed to that, to making sure that every student feels welcome here at UT Tyler, and to raise awareness about who we are as an institution and to celebrate together. And so I wanted to share that as an update. As far as this week, a couple of things that came to mind on the academic calendar. I think we're finally seeing the change that was made by student government from a few years ago. And so student government, I think, was in favor of making that change away from a study day, because students some students, yes, were taking advantage of it and were studying, but that freed up that extra day to put it towards another day where students can have off, whether it be Thanksgiving, spring break, whatever the case might be. And so it balanced out the schedule a little bit more, because for accreditation reasons, there's a certain number of days that we have to meet, and certain programs have certain requirements as well. And so that is why the study day has disappeared. And so if that is something that student government's interesting in addressing, then the registrar's office has a committee that looks at the academic calendar. And that's something that could be brought back on, but we won't see that change for another 2 years out, because next year's academic calendar is already posted. And so the change would have to be that further out. As far as the knocking, there is no rules against going around and knocking on the doors. Obviously, it has to be within normal, reasonable hours, just like if you were out, had your own home or another apartment. that is allowed. That's free speech. And so it's good practice for college students to, if you do happen to answer the door and just say, hey, not interested, no thanks. Because when you get out there and you get your own home, I had one this past weekend. It's good practice on how to handle those types of situations. However, if you ever do feel like, there is some suspicious activity going on as a result of that, that's when you call the police department so they can monitor it and keep up with it and address it, because there are certain limits that free speech you can't cross as well. But for the most part, based on what was shared, that's free speech. And we have a person who oversees the free speech on the student side. That is stuff we allow. And so
Like, what is kind of the
that's too
time?
late. Yeah, that's too late. And so if it's like that, that's a PD.
Emergency or non-emergency?
Say again?
Emergency or non-emergency?
I would just call our UT Tyler Police Department. Yeah. And if you happen to live out in the community, my advice would be then you make that call. Whether you feel like it's an emergency, call emergency. If you don't feel like it's an emergency, call the non-emergency. Obviously, it's going to be a different response time based on which number you call. But if you live on campus, it's the UT Tyler Police Department or the RA on call if you live. So a good practice with, like, when it comes to knock-in and free speech, if there's daylight, if there's the sun up, I think it has when quiet hours are. So sure, I think it's not. That is why you would call at that point. I think that's all the comments I have. Yep, that's it.
The banquet. Do I need to say it again? All right, great. Saturday, 4/23, 6 p.m. in the ballroom. Bev. You will know what the theme is on Thursday. Landry and I will be in the office. We'll get it figured out. All right. Next week is CAS and COB, so keep that on your radar for voice reports. Yes. For those of you going to Houston, I sent a message in the group chat. Make sure you like it to acknowledge that you received it. We're leaving at 6 a.m. Be here at 5:50. Got it? All right. Awesome. Yes, as long as you wear the SGA shirt, that's fine. All right. Now I entertain a motion to adjourn. It was motion seconded. All in favor, raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, raise your hand or do a heart emoji. And any abstentions. Have a great week.